No Nikola Jokic, no Aaron Gordon, no Cam Johnson, no Christian Brown, no Jonas Valanciunas in the last quarter of that game, but it's no problem for the Denver Nuggets as they take down the Toronto Raptors to close 2025. This is Locked On Nuggets.
You are Locked On Nuggets, your daily Denver Nuggets podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Welcome into Locked On Nuggets, your daily Denver Nuggets podcast, parts of the Locked On Network, your team every day. Thank you so much for tuning into today's episode. Being an everydayer on this show, very excited to break down what was an incredible game. We had a great way to end 2025, even though it was without a whole bunch of the familiar faces that you are expecting to see out there. Like I said, no Nikola Jokic, the first full game without him, and a whole bunch of other starters out as well. And then Jonas Valanciunas goes down in the middle of the third quarter, and people are looking around and thinking, holy crap, there's nobody left. There's just nobody here for the Nuggets to play. Doesn't matter. They find a way to do it. They gut out a win, and it was a very, very impressive one. My name is Ryan Blackburn, host here at Locked On Nuggets, also over at Mile High Sports. Looking forward to this show. We're, of course, going to go over the win. We're going to go over who stepped up, an 8-man rotation tonight. That was very shockingly light, I would guess, in terms of the number of people and then the number of faces that you expect to be out there. No Matt Moore on tonight's show. He'll be back, and Swiper will probably be back tomorrow. They have a midday show that they will try to get to. But of course, it's the final episode of 2025, so you know I couldn't miss it. Really appreciate everybody for stopping in. Let's go over what happened in this game. Let's go over Denver wins it 106-103. They got off to a great start in this one and did a really nice job of just bringing the right energy immediately. I don't think Toronto brought the right energy immediately. I actually think that they were very much underestimating what the Nuggets were going to bring. They probably saw what happened in the second half of the game in Miami where Joker went down. And I mean, you look at the starting lineup that the Nuggets rolled out there tonight. You had Jamal Murray starting next to Jalen Pickett, who gave Denver a very big, important boost in the first quarter of this game. Then you had Peyton Watson, Spencer Jones. Those are common starters. And Jonas Valanciunas, of course, the replacement for Denver in the starting group at the center position. And they got off to a great start. It was really nice to see Denver playing well, giving a little bit of cushion to what they were expecting to have to deal from Toronto. And Toronto was just bricking. They were bricking shots. I thought that they were playing some pretty dumb basketball, I would say. And I'm just not surprised that Denver was able to generate the space and generate the good looks that they were hoping to put out there. It was very nice to see what they were able to do. You never know what you're going to get in these situations, but this almost felt like Ewing theory in a lot of ways where, hey, Toronto's expecting Denver to be a different version of themselves. And without Jokic, Denver, obviously, they have to really find some grit. They have to find some other ways to win. And their defense, I think, really stepped up in this one. They were high effort throughout, did a lot of great things from a physicality standpoint. They did a good job of defending without fouling. I think Toronto got very frustrated at the way that Denver was defending at times. Thought that obviously Denver, they got 34 free throws. They were going downhill. They were doing everything they could to get into the paint. And it was just enough of the overall makeup. Like Denver didn't shoot the ball well. They shot it well initially, but then really ground to a halt in the second half, scored just 43 points in the second half between the third and fourth quarter. And the free throw shooting, they missed some clutch free throws. There were definitely some things that were just holding on by a thread, but ultimately still found a way to get it done. And am I surprised? Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised. I thought that Denver would ultimately let go of the rope in this one, that Toronto would figure some stuff out, but it's great. It's great the way that they were able to handle themselves. And there's a lot of players I think you can point to and say, good job. That's exactly what the team needed We'll start with Peyton Watson, who I think is one of those guys that like he has the talent to step up in these situations. He has the overall physical makeup, the body to be able to handle a matchup against Toronto, and that matters because you see what Jamal Murray was dealing with for a lot of this time as guys like Emmanuel Quickly, Ochai Agbaji, Scotty Barnes was being very physical with him. Like they switched those matchups a lot and doubled Murray a lot of the time, and so he was forced to give up the ball a pretty consistent amount. And Peyton Watson was the benefactor there. He had 18 points in the first half alone, and then finished the game with 24. But was just really impressive to see him get downhill, finish pretty well. He only shot 1 of 6 from 3, but he got to the free throw line 7 times. He went, my math is correct, he went 8 of 13 from 2, and that's good enough. That's good enough in that case, and it's what you're hoping for Denver to step up in this situation and be able to generate as many of those shots as they possibly can. So really good stuff from him. As I mentioned, Jamal Murray, he didn't necessarily have a good game. He had a lot of focus and a lot of attention paid to him. 38 minutes, 21 points, 6 of 18 from the field, 2 of 5 from 3. Did get to the free throw line 7 times, made all 7 of those free throws. Those were clearly huge. 21 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists, 1 steal, 1 block. Only 2 turnovers is good given the kind of defense that he was facing. And the efficiency will have to come back. He'll have to find a way to bring it back over the course of this stretch because he's going to have to get used to playing without Jokic. And that's going to happen on a pretty consistent basis. But one of the reasons why his efficiency really dropped off was because Jonas Valanciunas was no longer out there in the second half. He did a really good job of stepping up in the first half and especially that first quarter and gave Murray a nice little outlet, finished the game. Jonas Valanciunas did with 17 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists, and was giving Denver exactly what they needed. Somebody who could go over the top of somebody like Scotty Barnes or Brandon Ingram or whoever was going to be out there defending from a physical kind of undersized center perspective. And Valanciunas was doing great right up until he got hurt. And he had the calf injury that he sustained and ultimately had to come out of the game, was questionable to return. We don't know the severity of what it looks like. It didn't look like a super severe calf injury or anything like that, like what an Achilles tear would look like. However, it was severe enough that it kept him out of the game. So Denver had to pivot. They had to find ways to win anyway. And they did it in a variety of different ways. They found DaRon Holmes some minutes. He actually played over Zeke Naji in this game, and I thought did a really nice job playing that backup 5 spot, although pretty undersized and didn't necessarily do a great job on the glass, but he got some good help from a whole bunch of different people. Valanciunas had 9 rebounds in 23 minutes. Spencer Jones had 7. Jamal Murray had 7. Peyton Watson had 8. Bruce Brown had 7. So it didn't matter necessarily that DaRon Holmes only had 3. He just played physical defense and I thought did a really good job against Scotty Barnes and some other guys out there. But we'll get into a variety of different layers to that and some more DaRon Holmes love on the other side. But just the way that Denver was able to stick together in this case, I thought was really valuable. Like this is one of those games you're going to remember for a long time, and we'll talk about that a little bit later too. But just one of the ways that they find, like this is definitely a culture win, definitely something there that we'll be able to talk about. But just nice to see Denver find a way to gut it out. It doesn't have to look pretty, and it certainly didn't. But Denver ultimately just dragged Toronto down into the mud and won a rock fight. And sometimes that's the way you're going to need to win. And especially without Jokic, especially in this case, you're going to have to find creative ways to succeed. And the Nuggets most certainly did. When we come back, we're going to discuss DaRon Holmes a little bit more and some of the minutes that he was able to provide. We'll talk about Spencer Jones. We'll talk about some different aspects of this win and how Denver was able to get it here on Locked On Nuggets. All right, folks, that energy in that building had to be pretty fun. If you're a Nuggets fan looking to go to a game, like that's a game that it probably didn't feel like you were going to have a lot of fun at that one, but ultimately you made it work. And if you're in the building for that Toronto game, then more credit to you, because that you probably stuck it out. You probably weren't expecting a win, but you were treated to an absolute treasure of a game for Denver. This is one that I'm going to be thinking about for a while. During basketball season, there's nothing like being in that building. Fans want to be there for these moments, not stuck refreshing screens or guessing what tickets are going to really cost. And that's where Gametime comes in. The Gametime app gives fans the advantage back, making it incredibly easy to score amazing tickets, fast, simple, and without guesswork. Seeing the view from your seat with their seat view feature makes buying super easy and super convenient, and you can be confident about the kind of vision that you're going to have before you even make the purchase. Prices include fees up front, so the total is clear from the start. Features like zone deals can help unlock great seats at an even better value. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app and create an account. Use Locked On NBA as your code. That's LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Download the Gametime app today to get in on the action. We'll be right back on Locked On Nuggets. All right, we are back. Locked On Nuggets. Thank you so much for tuning into the show. Make sure to go scroll down and look at the comments, not the comments, look at the description and check out Everydayer Club. We're putting out more content. Matt just put out one of the articles that he's been working on for the Denver Dig, which is his own personal Substack, but he's also sharing it with Everydayers. It's a really good look at some of the things that Denver's done over the course of this last week, and then some of the things that they're going to have to do going forward to survive without Jokic. So he was excited to put that one up. So make sure to go check it out. Check it out Everydayer Club, and the Discord that we've got, the email distribution and things of that nature. There's a lot of cool features, including ad-free episodes. So check it out. Okay. Super important win, super gutsy win for Denver. They found a way to do it, and they found a way to do it with 8 players. The 8-man rotation that they ran, obviously, you had the Murray, Pickett, Watson, Jones, Valanciunas starting group. And then you had Bruce Brown and Tim Hardaway come off the bench, along with DaRon Holmes, who I think if you're going into it, if you were going to say 8 players were going to play, you would not have picked DaRon Holmes based off of the way that the Nuggets have handled minutes previously and based off of the way that they've handled DaRon. I think you would have probably picked Zeke Naji in that case, somebody who's a big off the bench who can give you some minutes and provide some switchability defensively. But DaRon Holmes was the guy that they went to. And I thought that was really interesting. And clearly it worked. Clearly it was something that they absolutely needed. DaRon made his first 4 shots, and the only shot that he missed was a 3-pointer right at the end of the game that would have been an absolutely incredible dagger. But he did a really nice job of handling himself, staying focused, and playing good defense without fouling. He only committed 1 foul in this game, which I think is actually incredible given the way that Spencer Jones has had to deal with foul trouble the way that he has, just being a rookie himself. And DaRon Holmes didn't really have that. He played pretty physical defense and did a nice job of using his hands correctly, not necessarily using them incorrectly, and still found ways to be disruptive and not draw fouls, which was a huge, huge thing for Denver. The fact that they won the free throw battle in this game, 34 attempts to 21 for Toronto. If you're looking at reasons why Denver won, that is one of the main ones, as well as Denver going 10 of 34 from the 3-point line, as opposed to 12 of 45 for Toronto. They shot a poor percentage, and Denver just did a really nice job of sticking with things, making it work. Toronto did grab some offensive rebounds. There's not that they had plenty of second chance opportunities, especially in that fourth quarter. Denver got away with it a little bit, though, and it was because they're flying around, they're playing hard defense, and DaRon Holmes was a big reason for that. He did a really nice job, but I want to give special credit to Spencer Jones, and I think Bruce did a pretty good job. He sometimes closed out a little bit short, but for the most part, I think it was Spencer Jones out there just setting the tone for 38 minutes, like finding ways to guard and finding ways to be physical and do so many things, battling on the glass and battling on the perimeter and finding your opportunities. Like, that's how you're going to have to win without Jokic. And until you get back guys like Christian Brown and Aaron Gordon, who are also kind of junkyard dogs in that case when they're at their best. Like, it's the style that you're going to have to play at times. You're just going to have to be physical and scramble. Like, it's not the way that Denver has necessarily played all the time, but having an identity where you just know you're going to have to give full effort defensively, it gives you some advantages in terms of just knowing that that is what it's going to take. And that's the expectation. That's how you're going to have to play. And if you don't play that way, you're not giving yourself a chance, because Denver doesn't have enough offensive talent right now to just play offense. Like, when Jokic is out there, you can just play offense and give good effort defensively as opposed to great effort defensively, and you're going to win a lot of games. If you just give good effort defensively right now, you're not going to be able to win. So the fact that Denver was able to really amp it up, was really able to play physical. They got bailed out a couple times with some of the shots that Toronto was missing, don't get me wrong, but they also played super hard. And just having that on a consistent basis was really, really important, even though Denver didn't shoot the ball that great. Like, Tim Hardaway Jr., I thought, made some really odd choices, but he still lifted up Denver's three-point percentage. He shot 33% from three. The rest of the Nuggets basically shot like 28. So, like, Denver's going to need to find ways to get past it. They're going to need to continue to amp it up. And one of the guys that you can really trust to do that is Spencer Jones. He's playing hard. He's playing physical. He didn't even make a basket tonight. He shot 6 of 6 from the free throw line, which super important, super clutch. He needed to make those shots, and Bruce Brown didn't make his shots. And ultimately, the final play, the final sequence was wild, where Brandon Ingram catches the ball basically full court and falling out of bounds, banks a shot in, but ball was still in his hands. So Denver wins by the skin of their teeth that way. But if you have somebody like Spencer Jones, and to be fair, Bruce Brown is also hustling. He's just a little bit undersized in this case, and it feels less impactful sometimes. Like, if you have somebody that's moving like that around the perimeter and grabbing rebounds and doing all these things, like, it was super, super valuable to have that out there. And it wasn't just him. It was like he set the tone, and then a lot of other guys were hustling as well. Peyton Watson's contesting Brandon Ingram reasonably well. I thought that Ingram, he was making threes over the top of other people for the most part, as opposed to Peyton Watson. But when he was going to the post, when he was going to the mid-range, felt like the Nuggets were doing a pretty good job of defending without fouling and preventing somebody like Brandon Ingram from getting to his spots as often as he could. So really good stuff from Denver. They absolutely needed it. I'm actually looking at the box score now. Holy cow. The 3-point shooting from the Toronto bench is what buried them in this game. Mamukelashvili went 0 of 3. Jamison Battle went 0 of 0. He had a foot on the line for the one shot that he did hit. Colin Murray-Boyles went 0 of 4. Jamal Shed went 0 of 4. Jacoby Walter went 0 of 5. Grady Dick went 0 of 2. Like, combine that all together, and you get 0 of 18 from your bench for 3. I mean, holy cow. If Nuggets fans saw that, if Nuggets fans had to deal with a bench that went 0 of 18 from 3, there would be a lot of yelling, especially if Jokic is out there and Jokic is having this amazing game. And that's what sinks you. But it sunk Toronto in this one. And so, again, Denver getting a little bit lucky, but it's better to be lucky than to be good in these cases. And I actually put that in the rundown. Better to be lucky than good, especially in a situation like this where you're just scrapping for any possible win that you can get. So really good stuff from Denver, really good stuff to be able to survive here. And I'm glad that they were able to pull it out, because this is one that you're going to remember as a team. And we'll talk about that on the other side, along with 2026 resolutions. But this is one that you are going to remember as a fan base, hopefully. And certainly the team will remember that they came together, that they found a way. And sometimes even though the shots aren't going down, even if you don't have Jokic, even if you don't have a lot of guys, you can still win basketball games by just playing hard and executing defensively. And that's what Denver did. All right, let's take our final break. When we come back, we will do 2026 resolutions here on Locked On Nuggets. All right. Fridays already feel different during the basketball season, and FanDuel is making them even better. Every Friday night before the games tip off, FanDuel gives fans a new way to kick off the weekend with NBA Happy Hour. NBA Happy Hour is your official pregame, a limited time window where special offers drop right inside the FanDuel app before the action starts. Fridays from 6 to 7:30 Eastern. If you're in Mountain Time, that's 4 to 5:30 Mountain Time, have become appointment viewing with NBA Happy Hour. Opening the FanDuel app during Happy Hour always brings something new with boosts, bonuses, surprises, and much more. It's easy to check the weekly special before tip-off and make a move before the window closes. Adds a little bit of extra energy to your Friday night hoops watching. So before tip-off, check the FanDuel app and see what's dropping during NBA Happy Hour every Friday from 6 to 7:30 p.m. Eastern. A little basketball, a little action, and a whole lot of Friday energy. That's NBA Happy Hour only on FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. We'll be right back on Locked On Nuggets. Final segment, pickaxe and roll. Oh, final segment, Locked On Nuggets. Thank you so much for tuning into the show. It's when this screen pops up. It's when I see my background, because usually if I'm doing it solo, like I'm doing a Mile High episode, as opposed to where I'm usually with other people on the Locked On. So, yikes, not my best work. Happy to be here. Happy New Year to everybody. I'm obviously not going to be going live at when the ball is dropping in New York, but I hope everybody is having or had a great 2025, and hopefully you are setting yourself up for a great 2026. For me personally, before I get into the Nugget stuff, I've dropped 30 pounds over the course of the last 4 months, 5 months, somewhere around here. And so been very happy with the progress that I've made, want to continue. I still have so far to go in terms of where I want to be, but it's been really cool, really nice to see the progress stepping up. And I know that it's always a process. And if you're somebody who also struggles with weight like I do, like it is always an issue. And so you just gotta change the mentality and gotta keep it going. So hopefully we do that in 2026, and hopefully the Nuggets are in a place now where they can like really step back and put this year in perspective and really look forward to what 2026 is supposed to mean for the fan base and for everybody involved. I think that if you are a Nuggets fan, the first thing that obviously you're going to want to prioritize 2026 Nuggets resolutions is health. It's you got to be healthy. You got to find a way to get yourself and get the entire team going. And like, if you are approaching the playoffs, then you want to do so with a full complement of players, because Denver's only got 14 guys on their roster. They've got 3 two-way guys. Obviously, Spencer Jones might be somebody that they convert, and maybe that's one of your New Year's resolutions. Spencer Jones is probably somebody that they will ultimately turn into a roster player as well, but you can't win a championship with too few guys. Like Denver saw it last year, right? If you have 6 or 7 guys that you really trust, it's not enough. You need 9, 10, 11. Like you need a whole bunch of different players that you can go to, not just during the regular season, but during a playoff run where like different playoff series are going to call for different guys and different skill sets. And there are some different things that, like, maybe Julian Strawther is somebody that they might use in a playoff series. Maybe DaRon Holmes is somebody that they could use in a playoff series. Maybe it's not a Bruce Brown series. Maybe it's not a Tim Hardaway series. Maybe Denver's going to need Spencer Jones. Like they have a whole bunch of different players. I think you could justify saying, hey, you're going to need him. And so the only way to have everybody healthy and available at that point is to get healthy, is to put yourself into that position as best as you possibly can heading into April, May, and June. Like there's things that you can't control, and Denver couldn't control this run of injury, poor luck that they've had over the course of this last month and a half or so. But you just got to survive. You got to find a way to get through it. And if you're Denver, then like nobody's going to be crying for you. Nobody's going to be in your corner other than your own fans. Like nobody's going to give you any extra help. So you got to find ways to get yourself healthy and do the things that you're supposed to do. Next, I think would be, hey, convert Spencer Jones. Find an opportunity to give him a full-time contract. However, you have to orient the roster in order to make it happen. Like if you're trying to give yourself, if you're trying to give yourself some flexibility and you need to make another trade, then maybe there's another roster spot that opens up at that point. But for now, like if you don't make any moves, convert Spencer Jones. Like he becomes ineligible to play in like a month. That's a real thing because there's only a specifically limited amount of time that you have with two-way guys. That's one of the things that's been built into the CBA. So Denver's going to need to make a decision on that in relative short order. So hopefully that is on the docket. Hopefully that's something that Denver can find a way to make it happen. Another New Year's resolution for the Nuggets, I think getting both Jokic and Murray to the All-Star game would be really cool. Obviously, Murray didn't necessarily have a great game in this one tonight. You hope that without Jokic, he can continue to find ways to free himself up, that the Nuggets can make it a little bit easier on him, and they can find ways to help him put up some great numbers and lead this team in some wins and things like that. It would be really cool to see both Jokic and Murray at the All-Star game. So that's something that I would be looking forward to personally. I think that's, hey, CT Fazio's here. He says, Happy New Year's, brother. Happy New Year's to you too, sir. Good to see you. The Holmes game. Hey, let's get some more DaRon Holmes minutes for the 2026. I think he totally showed that this is completely justified to be able to at least give him some looks here. And the most valuable experience that he can get at the NBA level is at the NBA level, not the G League level. So if they have an opportunity, if they have the minutes to be able to, and like they clearly do, your other option is Zeke Naji or small ball with Spencer Jones. Like you're going to need to play DaRon Holmes, and having somebody else in there is really, really valuable, especially if Jonas Valanciunas is now going to miss, I don't know, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. We have no idea, but I would guess if it's a minor calf strain, they have to give him enough time to be able to heal him as well. So it's going to look pretty gnarly for a while here at in January. So hopefully Denver can find a little bit of oomph and a little bit of extra stuff. We'll see. We'll see whether they actually do it. So that's another New Year's resolution. I think another, if you're Denver, like you want to see what it looks like when the entire group is fully healthy. I think what I want to see is Christian Braun find some confidence when he comes back, because there's been, Peyton Watson's played pretty good. Peyton Watson can move over to the 3. Spencer Jones can move back to the bench. But I do think that when everybody's healthy, there's a part of me that thinks that Peyton Watson has played his way into a larger role and potentially cutting into Christian Braun's time. So in response, I'd like to see Christian Braun play really well. I'd like to see him find a little bit of confidence here, find some ball handling that he can do, some creativity that he can do, sharing some of the burden with Jamal Murray and not necessarily just passing the ball back to him on a consistent basis, especially without Jokic. Like, that's a safety net that Christian Braun has had for a long time. So I'm curious to see how he plays without Jokic. And they're going to need it. They're going to need him to find ways to get downhill, to play physical, to be athletic, and give a little bit of extra stuff, a little bit of extra juice for what Denver needs. So that would be one of mine, is to when Christian Braun does ultimately come back, and I think he's going to come back in this next game or two. He's got to find a way to really amp it up. Can't just give the ball back to people. Like, has to find a way to create with his own, and not like, don't be shy. There's no, like, there really is no reason to be shy now with the number of injuries that the Nuggets have. So we will see what happens, but I'm very curious to see what it looks like. Slim Vickens asks, why cutting into Brown's time? They're different positions. Watson is, like, he's been playing a lot of shooting guard. He's playing a lot of small forward, and like, he's been more of a wing as opposed to like before and last year, where he was playing more power forward and he was playing more at the 4 and kind of providing a little bit of extra rim protection in the front court as opposed to more in the back court. They'll find time. Clearly, they've got so many injuries that this is not going to be a thing. But when you have everybody healthy, everybody available, then I'm very curious to see what the overall breakdown is going to look like. Like, does Bruce Brown lose some of his minutes? That's at least a possibility, I think. So we'll see what it looks like. But I'm curious to see who has their stuff kind of cut away, because Peyton Watson, I think, is a 25-minute per game guy, if not higher at this point. And I hope that he continues to play that much as well. Finally, for a New Year's resolution standpoint, I'm not going to do like Nuggets championship or anything like that. That's obviously inherently on. I hope that Denver's in the opposite side of the bracket of the Thunder. If wherever they finish, I mean, the Thunder are going to be 1. I got to imagine they're going to be 1. If they're not 1, then I'd be shocked. I hope that Denver can still find a way to be 2 or 3. I hope that that's still within their purview. You do not want to see them fall to 4 or 5 or anything like that, because playing in that 4 or 5 matchup, you're going to play a tougher team than you would in the first round if you were facing the 7 seed or the 6 seed or somebody like that, at least in theory, on average. So we will see where they ultimately wrap up, but this is why these games are so important. And if Denver can just survive without Jokic, then that's a huge deal. I think that they will be able to go on a run in March and April when like post All-Star break happens. You're going to find a little bit more juice. You're going to find a little bit more home games at that point. And Denver, in theory, should be healthy and really rearing to go at that point. But if they can't, or if they drop too far in the meantime, then they'll be fighting, scratching, and clawing just for playoff position to get into the 4-5 matchup or the 3 matchup or the 2 seed, whatever. And you don't want that. You want them to be able to really try to put some distance between themselves and everybody else. And so we'll see what ultimately happens. But the actual standings right now, like Minnesota's been struggling. The Lakers aren't perfect. The Spurs are really good, but the Rockets have been faltering. There's plenty of opportunity for Denver to keep pace with these teams, but they're going to have to win at a reasonable pace, and they can't just let go of the rope. And we'll see whether that happens over the course of this next few weeks or so. But hopefully Denver finds a way. Like, this was a really good first start. This was a really good opportunity for them. Hopefully this is not the end of it. Hopefully this is just the beginning of the new ways that Denver can win with energy, with physicality, with athleticism, and just scrambling, just finding ways to get it done. All right, everybody, that is going to do it for this episode of Locked On Nuggets. Really appreciate everybody for stopping by on the last night of the year. Hope your 2025 was great, and I hope your 2026 is even better. You deserve it. Don't ever forget that. You right there, yes, you deserve it. And I hope that everybody takes that mentality into 2026. Be happy, be healthy, treat people with respect on this new year, and hope everybody has a great time. So thank you for tuning in to this episode of Locked On Nuggets.